Welcome to the 360 Sports Network Road to the Final Four podcast series, breaking down every conference tournament on the way to the big dance to see who gets those automatic bids and whose bubbles might just have burst. Because before we can fill the field of 68, we must first get through the conference championship. I'm James Dotson. Today we want to look at the West Coast Conference, and there's really just a two-team race here for the West Coast Championship, pretty much like it is every year. However, we do have a new twist to the pot because we're not calling the West Coast Conference contenders as the Cinderella teams or the mid-majors when it comes to the NCAA Tournament. In fact, the number one seed in the tournament, Gonzaga, is not only number one in the tournament, but number one in the entire country. Now, the number two seed, St. Mary's, is coming off of a regular season championship and a conference tournament championship last year. That title actually ended an 11-year run with Gonzaga on top. Now, Gonzaga has bounced back big time this year, but the Gaels are just as good. They have a 26-5 record this year, 14-2 in conference. Both teams are going to make the NCAA tournament. The question is, will Gonzaga stay as number one the whole way through? Let's start with that number one team in the land. Gonzaga is led by Kelly Olynyk. He is their star. The British Columbia native leads the team with 17.7 points per game and another 7 rebounds per game. He's a 7-footer. He's a force to be reckoned with. And truly, nobody that he has faced this year has been able to stop him. Now, once he faces some tougher out-of-conference competition, say a Big East or a Big Ten opponent, I think things will change big time in the tournament. But however, the long-haired Olynyk, you know what Gonzaga must have a long-haired guy. He's sure to light up that stat sheet again throughout this conference tournament and on into the NCAA tournament. But it's not like Olynyk is the only scorer for Gonzaga. They share the wealth very well. Senior Elias Harris averages 14.5 points per game. He gets about 7.5 rebounds per game. They also have a couple sophomores in Kevin Pangos and Gary Bell, who are consistent double-digit scorers as well. And then, of course, they have David Stockton. He runs the show from the point guard position. And now you wonder why we're not calling this team a mid-major anymore. I mean, they have a star player in Olynyk to begin with, but then they have a big name like Stockton. He could have gone to a Big East or an ACC or a Pac-12, and he could have gone to any big school. But he chose instead to go to a smaller, well, I say smaller now, a smaller school in Gonzaga. Gonzaga's on a roll right now. They haven't lost since their Hoosiers reenactment loss against Butler in a buzzer beater. They're destined to go far in the NCAA tournament. But can they win that automatic bid? The competition in St. Mary's, they will depend heavily on the play of their senior guard, Matthew Dellevadova. He leads the team, 16.5 points per game, but he also dishes the rock pretty well too. He's got 6 assists per game. He's actually had 3 games this season where he gives out double-digit assists. And I think that's going to be the key for the Gaels. Not in his scoring, but in his helping everybody else and dishing out the ball. He has plenty of weapons out there to work with. Junior Stephen Holt, Bo Levesque, they each average 10 points per game. They also have Brad Waldo, who is a consistent 10.6 rebound player. Then they have 3 more on the rosters, averaging 7 points per game. So they have lots of balance, lots of depth. If the teammates of Dellevadova knock down the shots, the Gaels are going to be a very tough team to beat, even if your name is Gonzaga. And Gonzaga could let their guard down. And actually, I think they do let their guard down here going into the tournament. I think Dellevadova puts up a shocker, like St. Mary's has done many times before to Gonzaga in this championship game. So they're both tournament teams. St. Mary's, I think, wins the championship, though. And I think it actually helps Gonzaga more because it gives them a wake-up call heading into the NCAA tournament. I think it helps both teams more with St. Mary's winning, and actually that's what I think happens. Well, that's it for breaking down the West Coast Conference Championship. Follow us on Twitter at 3S Network, and keep tabs on our website, 360sportsnetwork.com, for all of your updates leading up to Selection Sunday. Thanks for tuning in to the Road to the Final Four special, and stay tuned as we try to make your brackets the very best they can be. For 360 Sports Network, I'm James Dotson. Have a good evening.